Hi everybody, and welcome to the Coffee Break course, How to Make a Professional Resume in 10 Minutes. In this course, you will learn how to make a sleek, professional resume in mere minutes using both Microsoft Word and Adobe Photoshop. In addition, you will receive tips on how to make your resume relevant to the specific position that you're applying for. The end result will be a clean, beautiful resume that accurately reflects your professionalism and skill set. This Coffee Break course is for both non-designers and designers alike who desire a sleek, professional resume without having to spend excessive hours creating it. If you're very focused on getting your next great career opportunity and understand that a beautiful resume is an essential step in that process, then this is the course for you. In our next lesson, we'll pick out a resume template and customize it in both Microsoft Word and Adobe Photoshop. Let's get started. In this lesson, we're going to select a resume template and then customize it in both Microsoft Word and Adobe Photoshop. First, let's select and download a resume template. For this course, we'll use Envato Elements, which has a wide selection of templates for us to choose from. You can head over to elements.envato.com, and we'll use the following template. It's essential that you select a design that is clean, professional, and easy to customize quickly. And as you can see, the neat thing about this template is that it comes not just with a resume, but also a cover letter and portfolio page, along with several different color schemes. If you have a subscription to Envato Elements, feel free to download this template and follow along. You can click the download button located in the upper right-hand corner. If you're using a different template, you can still follow along in this course, as the principles will be the same. For this course, we'll focus on the main resume page and the red color scheme, but you can use the editing techniques you'll learn to customize any of the other pages. Once you click download, you have two choices. You can grab a license to use this file for one specific project, or if you're not sure that this is the final resume that you're going to use, you can download it for trial use first and then assign the license later. Once you've downloaded your resume template, locate the zip file and then open it. Now, let's head over to Microsoft Word to customize our template. Within Word, let's open your resume template. Within the unzipped file, locate the US letter folder. And we'll head over to the Word folder, since we'll be editing in Microsoft Word, and then select Helvetica for the purposes of this course. And once you're in that folder, you can select the document ending in the word red. We'll go ahead and select that, and then we'll open it. Once you have the document open, you can scroll down past the cover letter to the second page. This is the page that we'll be focusing on in this course. We're now going to customize the information on this page according to the specific job that you're applying for. The goal is to make your resume as relevant to the position as possible. So let's get into customizing this resume. First, we're going to focus on updating the most basic information here in the header at the top of the page, and then we'll move down to the bottom of the page and update that information as well. So within the header, double-clicking on it will activate the area and allow you to edit it. Now that it's activated, you can click anywhere inside of the header. The first thing we're going to do is update the name. Add in your own name. For the purposes of this course, I'm going to use the name Jane Doe. Next, change the main heading underneath your name. It's important that you customize this title for the specific position that you're applying for. The goal is to create a resume with information that is tailored as closely as possible to the job you want. For the purposes of this course, I'll be playing the role of a user interface or UI designer. But for you, make sure it's the actual position that you're applying for. Now let's update the graphics on the right-hand side. First, I'm going to remove the circle graphic here with the initial inside. You can leave it if you want, but for the purposes of this course, we're going to remove it in order to keep this header as simple as possible. You can hover your mouse over the circle graphic until you see this 4-directional arrow, and then click on it. Once you've selected it, you can simply press delete. Now, let's hover over the silhouette graphic until you see the 4-directional arrow again. It may take a bit for you to find it, but it will eventually appear. Click on the silhouette graphic once, and then click on it, and once the menu pops up, select Change Picture. we're going to update this with your own photo. Locate your own photo saved on your computer hard drive and make sure it's a high quality photo. In this case, a PNG file with a transparent background will work really well. For this course, I'm going to use the following headshot that I've prepared, and as you can see, it is a PNG file. We'll click Insert, and there we have it. When you're done working in the header area, click the X in the bottom left-hand corner to exit out of it. Now let's move on to the very bottom of the resume. We're going to update the contact information there. It helps to have your information in various places on your resume because you want to make it as easy as possible for the potential employer to contact you. You're going to hover your mouse over the information and then double click on it. And it activates the footer section. Now within this footer section, you can go through and update the information to reflect your own. And also, don't forget to update the website information if you have one. Once you're done there, you can click on the X to close the footer. Now, let's move to the information area on the right-hand side of our resume template. You can go through each piece of information and customize it. Clicking anywhere within this section allows you to edit it. There are some pieces of information here that may not be necessary for the position that you're applying for. In those cases, you can simply remove that information. For example, for the purposes of this course, we'll remove the born, relationship, and nationality information. You can do this by selecting and highlighting each piece of information and then hitting delete. We'll go ahead and remove the relationship information and finally the nationality information. For the purposes of this course, we're going to remove the first line of education information and then shift the remaining information up. And then underneath that, we're going to add specific information about where you went to school. Press enter and then your space bar until you're directly under that information. And then you can add the name of the school that you went to. For the purposes of this course, I'm going to add University of Technology. And then I'm going to highlight it and make it italics by selecting the I in the upper left-hand corner. You can go through and update this area with your own information. Next, we're going to add a website to this section. We're going to hit return, and then hitting delete will remove the hyperlink from your email address. Now we're going to add a website, and then press the space bar until you're lined up with the information on the other side. And then add your website. This is only if you have a website that you'd like them to see. Next, we're going to add Skype information. We'll hit return again, and then type Skype. And then hitting the space bar to line up with the information on the other side. And you can add your Skype information. Now, let's move down to the skills section in the lower half of the right-hand side. You may see a slight change in how the circle graphics appear in your version of Word. If you do see this, then it can be corrected by simply adding an extra space in between each circle by clicking on it and then simply hitting your space bar. So if you choose, you can go ahead and space out the circles. And also, be sure to remove the Adobe Fireworks information by highlighting it and clicking delete. It was actually discontinued years ago. Now from here, you can change any of the titles on this left-hand side to specifically suit your resume and skill set. For example, if you're a photographer, then you can add titles such as digital photography and retouching. Or if you're a copy editor, you can add copy editing. A good rule of thumb is to use the actual words they used in the job description and make sure it's somewhere in your resume. For example, if they emphasize that they want someone who collaborates well with others, then adding the skill collaboration under the business heading is a good idea. Once you've updated the information and skills section, you can move on to the main work section. Again, clicking anywhere inside of it will allow you to edit the text. This is a vital area where you can show the work experience you have that's related to the job that you're trying to get. You want to make sure it's related and relevant. And you can simply go through and fill in this information. And don't forget to update the year as well. Double-clicking the year headings will allow you to edit them. If you don't have enough work experience to fill all 5 sections and need to remove any of these, you can. This resume is actually built as a table with cells. Let's say you want to clear out the work experience in this bottom slot, for example. This involves highlighting and removing the text and the vertical line graphic located on the left-hand side, as well as the red bullet point, and also the year. It's important to note that the text is in its own cell, and the line graphic is also in its own separate cell. So first we're going to select and highlight this main text here, and make sure you're highlighting just the text, and then select Delete. And then move up to the next line and highlight just that information, and then select Delete, and also do the same with the title, and then select Delete. And then you can click next to the bullet point, select Delete. You can select this year and select Delete. Next, carefully highlight just the top of the vertical line graphic here. So we'll select next to it, and then carefully click and drag so that just this top area is highlighted. Next, we're going to Control-click on it and select Borders and Shading. As you can see, this cell simply has a border setting applied to it. We're going to remove it by selecting the very top left option, labeled None. This removes the border. And then select OK. And as you can see, it removes that line. You can still add some custom text within the blank cells, such as a mission statement or anything else that you want them to know about you. Once you've updated all of the information on your resume, make sure you double check it. After you've done so, you can go ahead and save it as a PDF. Now, for those of you who prefer Adobe Photoshop, we'll head over there and update this template using that program. And here we have our document open in Adobe Photoshop. Let's take a moment and get familiar with what we're seeing. We'll be working with two main areas: the Tools palette, located in the upper left-hand corner here, and the Layers palette, located on the right-hand side. If for some reason you're not seeing your Tools palette or your Layers palette, you can head up to Window and then select these tools from the drop-down list that appears. As you can see within our Layers palette, the layers are arranged into neat, orderly folders to keep your information organized. To open a folder, click on the little arrow that appears next to the folder name, and you'll be able to see the contents. You'll notice that we're currently looking at the cover letter. That's because every folder is layered on top of each other. So the first thing you'll want to do is hide the folders we don't need by clicking on the eye icon next to each one. So we'll go ahead and make page 1 invisible, along with page 3 and 4. Now let's customize this resume. As we did in Word, we'll start with changing the name to your own at the top of the page. You're going to head over to your Layers palette and locate the folder named Top. Within that folder, locate the layer named Max Mueller Designer and click on it. And by the way, if you ever get overwhelmed trying to locate a specific layer within your document, selecting Control Option and then clicking anywhere within your document will take you directly to that layer. It's quite the time saver. Once you're on the Max Mueller Designer layer, select the Type tool from your Tools palette. It's the capital T, also shortcut T on your keyboard. Select the name and then fill it in with your own. Also update the title underneath your name. Now let's head down to the very bottom of the resume and update that information to reflect your own as well. Another shortcut that you can use is simply double-clicking the text at the bottom of the resume. It's actually a quick way to navigate between the text within this document. And you can go ahead and fill in this information with your own. If at any time you need to zoom into this document, you can select the Zoom tool from your Tools palette or shortcut Z, and then click on the document and it'll move it in closer for you. Now you can move on to the information area on the right-hand side here and update that with your information as well. Double-clicking in the area will allow you to edit it and take note that each piece of information is in its own column here. So anything that you delete on one side, you do want to make sure and delete that on the other as well. And don't forget to update the Skills section and the work information. Finally, make sure you update the image in the upper right-hand corner by going to File and then Open and then locating your own headshot file on your computer. From there, you can click and drag your image directly into this resume document. When you're done updating your resume, you can save the file as a PDF. With any position that you're applying for, it's absolutely worth it to take a few moments and tailor your resume for that position. As you can see, it doesn't have to be time-consuming. Thank you for taking this course, and best of luck on your career journey.